Well, I'm just about over that awful result against Bournemouth on Saturday, but I want to talk about now, with a bit of hindsight, 5 things I've taken away from that incredible 9-match winning run as we move into the most important part of the season. If you're curious, Newcastle fans, do us a little favour and make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Black White Banter, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is done and dusted, that Bournemouth game. I've got it out my system. We're not used to this losing or not winning, should I say, malarkey, are we? 9 wins in a row. We didn't make history on Saturday. We've all taken a breath. It was always going to come down to a bit of a bump at some point. We just didn't expect it to come down in such catastrophic style. Probably against Bournemouth, who I think a lot of fans in the stadium didn't give enough credit for. Anyway, welcome back. Hope you're having a good week as we approach a very winnable, very winnable game against Southampton on Saturday. And I'm just having a nice little cold, dark, gloomy walk around Low Fell whilst I mull over. I say mull over, I've been doing it for the last couple of hours before I did this video. Some stats into what I've learned probably is one for a better word, from that incredible 9-match winning run from the 14th of December all the way through to last weekend. It's been nothing short of remarkable, nothing I or most Newcastle fans have ever seen in their lifetime. But now we come into crunch time, and let's talk about 5 of those big things that I think we've all learned, and me specifically, and I could have made this list a lot longer. So let's kick off with number 1. Who else could we start with than Mr. Sandro Tonali? And yes, we might have all been singing his praises for a while. That's the case. But look, if I'm going to take anything away from what has been imperative in this incredible run that's put us right back in the mix for European football, right in the mix to finally bring a cup home, or at least get to Wembley to drink some cans in Trafalgar Square, it is Sandro Tonali. And what I will say for him is, probably more recently, you don't always notice the work that Tonali puts in, because I still think that Eddie Howe is restricting him. Probably one of my more controversial opinions, because he does offer quite a lot in an attacking third. We are told he's one of the best finishers on the training ground, and we saw what he could do against Brentford in the Cup with those 2 lovely goals. And he is allowing Bruno to push further forward. But he's just been absolutely imperative in everything Newcastle in that midfield have done. And he's allowed our midfield, in my opinion, to become one of the best in the Premier League and maybe in Europe. And I'm not going to claim I know enough about the European leagues. I don't watch much Spanish, German or Italian football. But they've been that good, and I'm looking at like the likes of Liverpool, who are storming the top. Yes, they're probably better, but generally speaking, for balance, for athleticism, for passing finesse, for energy, for legs, Bruno, Joey and Tonali are a fantastic 3 that I think are only going to get better. And I'll touch on how important it is to keep them fit for long further in the video. But Tonali has made all that happen. Because if we look at what he brings, we look at what he's allowed Bruno to do, he's freed Bruno up, which I didn't think was necessarily the answer. And I love to be stood corrected in terms of things going well. I'm really happy that Bruno's pushed on in a slightly more freed up attack and third as captain. He's got assist, goal in his last 3 matches. And that's because of Tonali doing a lot of that dirty work. And I look at the stats, and anyone who watches my videos knows I am a stat man. And Tonali tops some of them for that midfield 3. But the proof is in the pudding with the balance and what we've allowed ourselves to create by this 3 playing together. Tonali tops the numbers on average per 90 for ball recoveries and possessions won, which again just tells you everything about the great work that he's doing in there. But likewise, chances created, Bruno tops that list because he's been allowed to push on. And yes, Joelinton might not top any of these charts, but we know what Joelinton offers. And do I think Joelinton still has to improve from an attacking point of view? Yes. And again, I'll touch on this further in this video of another thing we learnt against Bournemouth on Saturday with that in mind. But that midfield 3, helped by our Italian stallion, has been nothing short of great to see. And I just really hope they continue playing together. We don't get any injuries in there, because that midfield for me has a bit of absolutely everything. And the numbers do not lie. Sandro, ole, ole, ole. Long may that continue. Up at number 2, could I really talk about individual players without talking about Alexander Isak? Give me a striker from Sweden. Just give me a striker from Sweden of that nature for the rest of our lives as Newcastle fans. Look, he's been nothing short of incredible. I don't need to touch on this man too much on this video. The point I'm going to make is our season is defined by certain players staying fit. And with no striker backup apart from a very rusty Asula, I think Alexander Isak is key, and we know he's had an injury record, and I know I'm really jinxing us on this video by even suggesting that Isak might not stay fit. But it's the difference. Your bigger players are the difference between getting Champions League football and winning cups. And it's imperative that we look after him, we protect him. And Eddie Howe does have a good record for doing that with players. But look at his December. Most goal contributions. He topped the charts. He won the awards. And he went after that incredible record of scoring in consecutive matches, which unfortunately came to an end in a Bournemouth match where he was given no service at all. He's dynamic. He started the season really slow, but he's now propelled himself to one of the best strikers in Europe, if not the world. And I don't think there are many teams that can afford him. I do believe that Liverpool are looking at him. I do believe that Arsenal have got their fans will just not give it a rest about him. I think some of them look at a photo of him before they go to bed every single night. Are any of them going to be willing to part with 120, 130 million? Well, look at it from a wider perspective and not on Newcastle fans' glasses. I think goal scorers are hard to find in the age he is. You see the Declan Rices and Caicedo's go for 100 million. I do think he's worth that. But whether any of them are going to part with that money is a different story altogether. But he is crucial in everything we do. And with no real backup other than Asula, we need to protect the man at all costs. Wrap him in bloody sausage rolls. Wrap him in as much bubble wrap as you can find if we have to. He needs to stay fit between now and the end of the season. Last on the play performances for me at number 3 is Lewis Hall. Yes, he didn't have a very good game against Bournemouth, but my God, when have we said that this season about this kid? And that summed up why we were never going to win that football match. The fact that even Lewis Hall played badly. Absolutely incredible. And please, somebody in the comments, Newcastle fans, let me know a player that you can remember that has done more and improved as much in such a short space of time as what Lewis Hall has. He's so young, he's so raw, but he's playing with a maturity so quickly and a consistency which is key that I don't think I've ever seen before from a 20-year-old. And that England spot is literally his if he wants it. And look, I think this Newcastle team has had an imbalance in a lot of the time Eddie Howe's been here, with no attacking forefront down the left-hand side. We've had Dan Burn for so long. We had Matt Targett, who was a little bit limited when Eddie Howe first came in. We have now got a young, attacking, modern left-back who's nifty at one end and still improving all the time, but loves to get forward. I mean, look at his assist against Man U. Look at his corner where he took it off Gordon against Bournemouth to get Bruno's header in the back of the net. Lewis Hall is, for me, one of the best left-backs in the country, and the fact that he's English just makes it even more exciting. The balance that he offers on that left-hand side, because we've always had attacking Trippier and Livramento on the other side, has been brilliant, and so many things have ended up clicking for us this season across the pitch, where this team looks so much more balanced than when we started the year, and Eddie Howe is tinkering, playing different players in different positions. Lewis Hall, just keep it up. Point number 4 is neither a positive nor a negative. It's the goalkeeping front. Now look, Martin Dubravka has come in during this spell. Martin Dubravka, we all knew before he even kicked the ball that he is better with his feet than Nick Pope, who quite frankly looks like he didn't even play football growing up. But what I've noticed in this spell, and all it's highlighted for me, and some people might get in the comments and bark at me for this one, is that Martin Dubravka has just shown us what we need in the summer. I do not think for a second that Martin Dubravka is the answer to Newcastle's problems, but similarly, I don't think at this stage, because of this little run that we've been on, that Nick Pope is neither. Nick Pope, for me, is an absolutely incredible shot stopper, and he does make up for his issues with his feet by making crucial saves that get you points, and he proved it in the Champions League season. Hasn't been as solid this year since his injury, I must admit, but Martin Dubravka doesn't become a great goalkeeper overnight, and everybody has been singing his praises, and he has been good collecting balls from crosses. He has been solid with the ball at his feet. He has made saves where needed, but he's barely been tested, and the stats show that. He's had barely any shots to save. That's full credit to our defence. But when he has been asked a little bit more, in my opinion, the Bromley goal, in the FA Cup, a couple against Bournemouth. I'm just not sure he's the answer. I don't think Martin Dubravka is a world-class goalkeeper. I don't think he's the sort of goalkeeper that's going to get us to the next level. And all it's highlighted that Nick Pope probably isn't the answer. We need a ball-playing defender, goalkeeper, the way we play and the way we set up, playing the ball so much on the floor. Martin Dubravka's proved that a little bit more because he's a little bit better, but he's still not great. And Eddie Howe's got decisions to make there in the summer, because I look at Alisson, I look at Edison, who do a bit of both for Liverpool and Man City, and they cost mega bucks. Is Trafford the answer? I don't know. Martin Dubravka, fair play to the lad. He's come in and done a really good job, and he's going to continue to, I've got no doubts, but I just don't think he's quite the answer to what you'd class as a world-class goalkeeper. And last, but certainly not least, at number 5, look, Newcastle have so much to play for. So much to play for. Carabao Cup semi-final feels like the biggest game in my lifetime, because I think against Southampton last time out in the semis, we kind of knew we were already there a little bit when we beat them in the away leg. This one still feels like there's a lot at stake, but it's so imperative. Look at what players have played the most minutes for Newcastle this season. I'll put it on the screen. That is going to be the difference in where this team goes. If Bruno can keep playing, if Joe Linton can keep playing, if Isak and Lewis Hall can all stay this match fit, where our squad is a little bit short on the ground when you look at our bench, with Barnes out for a while, with no real strikers apart from Asula, we will go places. Every team in the Premier League season is defined on injuries to a degree. But what I noticed with an Eddie Howe side is he doesn't make too many changes once he gets his rhythm. If you look at the team that qualified for Champions League last time out, European football's there's ours for the taking, because our midfield is that good, our centre forward is that good, and some of our defensive work this season has been that good, but only if a lot of them stay fit. The momentum can stay with us. Can we put a trophy in the cabinet? That's one to talk about in the weeks that are coming. But those are my 5 biggest takeaways from that incredible 9-match winning run, Newcastle fans. Get down, let us know your thoughts. I know there's more. I could have talked about Jacob Murphy, for example, and what he's contributed along the way, as much as he might frustrate some Newcastle fans. Let us know what you think. Some of these points you might not agree with. On to Southampton we go. Now I need to get home before it's getting dark, because my God, is my hand getting colder and colder holding this phone as the weather is starting to turn. Keep the faith as always. Whack that like, whack that follow, whack that subscribe. Get Black and White banter across all social media, and keep the faith. Are we Eddie Howe's, Max?